Hello and welcome to your messages for the month of May. We're coming up to May 2025. So we're nearly halfway through this amazing year of 2025 already. I mean, that's just where's time gone? Um, I am going to do the tarot, obviously, but as you know, those of you that have followed, I'm not an astrologer, but I'm picking up bits and pieces, and something in the month of May really resonated. I made some notes because I'm not an astrologer, right? So, well, first of all, we've got a very fertile full moon on May the 12th in Scorpio. The reason that caught my attention was fertile means that we're going to be creative, we're going to be productive, right? And Scorpio is the sign of death and rebirth. So it's also the sign of transformation. But like Scorpio in tarot is the death card, which is the greatest capacity for transformation. So when we have this productive, creative, and fertile full moon on the 12th, I think it's really going to be productive. I think there's something that we're all going to be producing in some way or another, in some area of our own expertise, which in my case is not astrology, as we know. Um, but um, I am finding the connection between tarot, the energies, and astrology also fascinating. So we've also got the sun moving into Gemini, of course, on the 20th of May. We normally know what the sun's doing, don't we, astrologically? And apparently that's going to be friendly, so that's good. But the bit that caught my eye, right, or my interest, I should say, is on do I have a date? Yeah, 24th or 25th. I think it depends where you are in the world. I don't know, but different sources said different things. But on the 24th or the 25th of May, Saturn moves into Aries and it's going to stay there. It might do a little bit of retrograde, but it will stay in Aries for about 2.5 years. So that caught my attention because energetically, there's this thing about 2020 to 2030. Some would call it the agenda. It's almost like it's the timeline that we're on at this time of the Great Awakening. So a lot of people woke up at different stages. Obviously, some people have always been awake. Some people woke up in 2012, of course. When I say wake up, what do you mean? I mean, for me personally, it's been a very gradual process. So I don't think I can pinpoint a year. But in 2020, whatever stage of awakening we were at, it went to another level quickly, right? I think that's the way to say it. And a lot of us, especially those of you watching this video, of course, excuse me, are drawn into what's going on in the world that is not in alignment with our morality. It's not in alignment with who we are in our divine truth essence. So, the density of the matrix, however you want to word it, observing the evil or observing the manipulation, the control, the restrictions, and the top-down governments, and actually the illusion of choice. We think we're choosing, but of course we're not. Everything's controlled at a level that we hadn't seen before. So that is what I refer to as the old paradigm, one whereby we were just programmed to go to work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. If you have a hobby, just do it at the weekend. You've got to work hard to make money. All those ideas and limiting beliefs that we were brought up in. Well, my generation were brought up in, because I think the youngsters they're coming in without this programming that we had. I think our job is 3 waves of volunteers for the new earth from Dolores Cannon, but our job is to clear this density. A lot of people I know are doing the ancestral healing, past life healing, and just basically raising our frequency, increasing our light, activating our light codes, however you want to word it. Anyway, so we know like Pluto has gone from Capricorn into Aquarius. We know Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Aquarius is, of course, the star card, which is my heaven on earth card. So, we are creating heaven on earth. There's two steps to the awakening that, in my opinion, one is waking up to the falsehood, I want to call it. There's a good word, isn't it? The falsehood of the matrix that we were brought up in. But the second most important part of the Great Awakening is realizing our power as human creator beings. And the people that have been trying to control us, they know our power. They know that our reality is created from our frequency. They know that we create at the frequency of the emotion that we're feeling, which is why there's been so much fear mongering and so much, um, you know, dissing anything that's non-physical, the witch hunting, this kind of stuff. Anyone that's slightly intuitive, they're a quack, or anyone that's, they're a charlatan. Anyone that reads tarot is a charlatan, it's the work of the devil, and all of that stuff, was being thrown around to put us off from tapping in to this powerful, powerful energy, which, I mean, tarot is just one way. Astrology, a lot of people don't believe in astrology. They're all tools. I mean, some people even think that yoga is, a bad thing to do, I mean, so all the things, they're just my areas. But, whatever you're really into, one of the reasons that we struggle to express ourselves and we tell ourselves not to do the things that we love is because the things that our soul is telling us to do are things that have been shamed upon in the old paradigm, you know um and so, yeah, so we've the second part of the awakening is, and the most important part, of course, is understanding that we create our reality at the frequency that we are, and that loving ourselves is not selfish. It's the most important thing we can do for ourselves, for our families, for our communities, and for the collective, because everything outside of us is a reflection. It's a reflection of our perceptions. So it's so important that we shift our thinking. It's so important that we shift our mindset into more positive feeling beliefs of safety, freedom, security, love. If we believe it, we make it true. If we believe it, we make it true. I've said this before. I use the flat earthers as an example. If you believe that the world is a globe, then for you, the world will be a globe. And there'll be loads of people in your collective that will agree with you. If you believe that the earth is flat, then for you, the earth is flat. And there'll be loads of people, maybe not quite as many, but loads of people that also agree with you because they believe that. And you can go and search information and you're going to find it, whatever you're looking for. I mean, Trump is a good example of this. There are so many people that love him, hate him. He's like Marmite, right? And these people will go and find so many articles and newspaper items um, saying negative things about him. And these people will go and find, news items and whatever positive things about him, And it's like, really, everything's digging us deep into this duality situation, isn't it? And there is no truth. We create our truth by believing. We create our truth by believing. So it's a difficult one to get our head around that, I know. But in this time, let's go back to the 2020 to 2030. So 2025 is in the middle, right? So really, this is the tipping point, the turning point. So many people are talking about this. So many people are now understanding that, okay, they don't like the way the old paradigm works. So they're going to go off grid. They're going to have solar panels. They're going to have a well to get their own water. They're going to grow their own food because the corruption within the food industry is a big one, isn't it? And the brainwashing. all that advertising and all of that. I mean, if you look at all the companies that are behind everything, or the shareholders that are behind everything, it will boil down to just two or three companies, the same two or three companies. And that's when you realize how controlled the food industry is, along with everything else. So growing our own food, knowing who to go to for homegrown food. This is communities. That's why we're creating communities here in the Costa Blanca North. We're doing an amazing job. I'm surrounded by amazing, amazing people doing this. And so you know where to go to for healing, you know where to go to for your organic fruit and veg, you know where to go to for your entertainment, for your music, because you don't want to be listening to that 440 hertz. It hurts, right? You want to be listening to the 432. I'm not a musician or sound healer or anything either, but I can, I think some of the modern music, it's really, and it's to do with the tuning. It's not always to do with the lyrics or the actual melody, but the tuning. But so anyway, building communities where you can celebrate and socialize and have fun with healthy things around you, not always just going to the pub and getting drunk. So it's this building of communities that I think is progressing now that we're halfway through this 10-year agenda, so to speak. But what's interesting, bringing it back to the astrology, on the 24th, 25th of May, Saturn moves into Aries. What I like about that is that Aries is the first of the zodiac signs. So it's moving from Pisces, which is the last of the zodiac signs. And it's like a new beginning. When a planet goes from Pisces to Aries, it's like starting a whole new cycle. It's like the new Fool card, because you're really starting something new. You're starting it's the beginning of the beginning. It's like four aces make the fool. You know what I mean? So now let's have a look at Saturn now, because Saturn is often known for its negative qualities and definitely its effect on the old paradigm. So negative qualities, of course, would be restriction. I've made a note because I'm not an astrologer. Restriction, control, fear, self-doubt, serious, difficulties in life. Okay. And also top-down government, that structure of top-down. Whereas we know the age of Aquarius, people power. Now, what I think we're doing, going from the old cycle of Saturn into Aries, yes, it's fiery, it's action. So we need to be fiery. We need to be passionate about what we do. We need to take action. Yes, we know from David Hawkins and lots of other sources that you can actually just sit at home raising your own frequency and you're going to be contributing to the peace of the world. We know that. It's just that you chose to come here at this time because of the Great Awakening. And yes, you can just be and contribute your high frequency to the collective, but you're also a way shower. Please don't forget that you're a way shower. If you're watching this video, you're a way shower and you came here to show other people the way. And remember Pablo Picasso's quote where he says, the meaning of life is to find your gift, as in that makes you feel good and raise your frequency. But the purpose of life is to give it away. And we have come here to share it with others. So we do need to get out there and share. And I know I've just said there is nothing outside of us, everything's a reflection of us, but it's getting it out of us. When we express ourselves to others, it's the self-expression that is actually helping, it's doing the help from a quantum perspective. But in the human experience, we can look at it as in helping others on their journey. So this is what we need to be doing, because that's what Aries is about. And I love the fact that Aries is pioneer, right? Because you are a pioneer. You are a pioneer if you're watching this. You've got gifts, whether you're aware of them or not. You're sensitive. You know that you're intuitive. You know that there are things. You have an innate feeling of wanting to help other people. And so, yeah, this is beautiful. So what I wanted to do is look at the positives of Saturn. Okay. Um, because what I think we need to do is if Saturn's moving into Aries, it could be quite explosive, right? It could be restricting our warrior-like stance. It could be controlling our action. Do you see what I mean? So if we look at the positive qualities of Saturn, okay, so that we're consciously focusing on creating the expansive outcome, the most expansive outcome. Does that make sense? So Saturn has stability. It has stability and builds strong foundations. So I think what I'm doing is asking you to focus on that in May. It's like your own personal stability and building a strong foundation for the new Earth. Well, we already are doing it, right? But we're doing it anyway. Just go with your flow. I mean, you could always end up just saying, just go with your flow, because if you're tuned in, you'll be taken the right way. But isn't it lovely when you're taken the right way and then you can reflect on it mentally and see, oh, wow, that was the right thing to do? Saturn has a strong work ethic and a sense of duty. Stick that with your Aries energy. Stick that with your warrior attitude, with your pioneering, adventurous side, and your power. It's Aries is your power. It's the Emperor card in tarot, and he's all about stepping into your power. Okay, and I believe our power at the moment lies in our sense of duty. Oh, I'm going to get truth bumps. I'm going to get truth bumps now. Yes, I've got to say that bit again. Our power lies in our sense of duty. Right. Anyone joining me on that? Our power lies in our sense of duty. Saturn is also perseverance, ability to build something solid through hard work. I want to take away hard work. I want and put dedicated. Saturn is very dedicated work-wise. And we're dedicated on creating the new Earth. So let's take the positives of Saturn and bring them into the I am pioneering, fiery energy of Aries. I don't normally use the word warrior, but when you're looking at Aries, you kind of have to, ruled by Mars and all of that. And Saturn also has patience and a grounded, realistic view of life, a realistic view of life. I want to focus on that for a moment because, we've been told like if you're intuitive, and you live in, cloud cuckoo land, that's what they used to say to me. I often even use the phrase away with the fairies, and that was often used towards, to describe me when I was younger, but with a negative connotation. Oh, she's away with the fairies again. Listen to it. Away with the fairies. There's nothing more positive than being away with the fairies. It's one of the most positive things you can say about somebody. We've got to turn this language around. We're in 2025. We're halfway through this transformation and creation of the new Earth. It's amazing, isn't it? And the other thing I want to say about Saturn, as I said earlier on, that it's going to be in Aries for about 2.5 years, which I think is really interesting because I've heard from a lot of other energy readers or what have you, or astrologers like Pam Gregory, talk about this period between 2025 and 2027. There's your 2 years that Saturn's in Aries. And I'm really feeling that these are our 2 years to be dedicated. It doesn't have to be hard work. I mean, Eight of Pentacles, I always say, yes, he's traditionally hard work, but the word hard, it doesn't have to be a struggle. See, Saturn Saturn's negative sides also are obstacles, delays, and struggles. It doesn't have to be, there doesn't have to be obstacles, delays, or struggles. If you are tuned into your flow, if you are away with the fairies, if you're away with the fairies, nothing will be a struggle. It's beautiful. So I'm seeing these next 2 years. I'm talking about May, of course, but now today, but the next 2 years, we're really, you know, nose to the grindstone or whatever the expression is, um, doing what you've got to do. So get your artwork done. Write that book, Deborah. um, you know, get your new workshop out. Um, I mean, and everybody is so unique. I have to say, I met this amazing woman this week who does astrology and Kundalini activation. And you would think, but where do they join up? You know, but to educate people on astrology, to help them self-realize through astrology. Self-realization, Kundalini activation is all about accessing higher levels of consciousness for the purpose of self-realization. It could be emotional release, clarity, whatever, but it's self-realization. So, wow, putting the Kundalini activation with the astrological input and awareness is perfect, isn't it? You get to integrate it. And it's kind of putting your self-realization on speed dial. But isn't that beautifully unique? So everybody that offers, I mean, there's lots of people offering astrology, there's lots of people offering Kundalini activation, but to bring the two together, I guess it's a little bit like, I don't know, tarot and energy healing, or, whatever we're doing. So the reason I'm saying that is because you will have unique gifts. You might be a yoga teacher, a massage therapist, you might be an artist, you might have written books, you might have a channel, whatever you're doing, but put your gifts together. That's what I want to say. Consolidate, put your gifts together, because that's where your uniqueness lies, and our power lies in our uniqueness and our sense of duty. I didn't forget that bit. Right, I've got 5 cards, they're face down. I've got absolutely no idea. Let's go. Here we go. The Fool. Oh, truth bumps. Of course, it's the Fool. What did I just say? Saturn moving into Aries is a whole new completion. It's a whole new beginning. This is us taking the leap of faith. We're leaving the day job that we've never really enjoyed. We're leaving our attachment to the old paradigm. We're leaving our need for things outside of us. Wow, including money, he's on his own. I mean, he's got his faithful companion, because those that resonate with you, of course, will stay with you. But he is walking away from a lot, isn't he? There's his rays of guidance. He's taking so little forward with him. He's got a song in his heart and a spring in his step, and he's about to take a massive leap of faith. And the rose tells you that wherever he goes, he has fruition. Fertile. What did we say about fertile? A fertile full moon in Scorpio on the 12th of May. Okay. So Scorpio is rebirth, death and rebirth. Well, he's been reborn. That's why he's taking the leap of faith. He's like, no more. No, I'm off. I'm taking a leap of faith. I'm going in this direction. The reason he's called a fool isn't because he's foolish or silly in any way. It's because he's a little bit naive, because he doesn't know what's ahead of him. But what he does know is that he doesn't want to live in what's behind him anymore. That's not for him. It's not in alignment with his divinity. Wow, loving it, loving it. And there's all the fear that comes up, and that's okay. That's okay. For some people, this will be what I call astral traveling. So try and remember your dreams. Well, you don't have to, but I believe that dreams are actually reality in another dimension, but without the restriction of the physical body, which is why we can sometimes fly. Very often in your dreams, you're feeling like you're identifying with the person that you're in human incarnated as. in this lifetime. But very often in a dream, if you look down at yourself, you're not that person. It's your consciousness, isn't it? It's your consciousness that's floating around and doing whatever it's doing in the dream state. And everything's happening in the now moment. So what you're doing, because this avatar is having a rest, your consciousness is busy living other lifetimes and doing other things, and can be, of course, living a life of duty with, and serving, because your conscious is your level of consciousness that is the light, right? So you could be serving the collective more than you realize at night. So the Nine of Swords has often been referred to as a negative card, of course, but very often, he could have had a nightmare. But again, what's often happening in a nightmare? You're defending something or you're running away from something, it's all significant, I think. But this card can also represent sleepless nights. And I think a lot of people have been suffering from insomnia, or just waking up in the night and not being able to go back to sleep. I mean, that's okay. There can be a million reasons behind that. But one of the things that I think is important is that very often, let's say you've only had 3 or 4 hours sleep, or less than that even, it's your mental human mind that is going to tell you you're going to be tired today. And it's that belief that is going to make you tired. If you can tell yourself, oh, I've had enough. I've had enough sleep. And I had more than enough the other day, and I've rested, and I can have a siesta later or what have you. If you don't focus on it being only 2 hours or 3 or whatever hours sleep, it's our belief that we're going to be tired because we have a belief that we need more than that. A lot of people live on that. There's some famous figures that often talked about living on a small amount. I remember when I was running the summer school, residential summer school, I lived on 4 hours sleep a night. After a while, it does, over a long period of time, obviously it does wear you out. But for short periods of time, it's fine. So this is okay coming after him because, there's going to be some programming in him that is worried. He's walking away from his income. He's walking away from the stability that maybe his family or his old community gave him, or his old job or his old relationship. This is a little bit of, you get your first little hiccup, and he's like, oh, what have I done? What have I done? Should I have done this? It's like me when I first moved to Spain. I moved to Spain with my son was only 7. I was a single mum. I had 3 suitcases, and one of them was full of toys for my 7-year-old. Um, and I knew I was doing the right thing, but I found a flat straight away. I had a job straight away. Everything was falling into place. But I remember just sitting in that flat, opening those suitcases, looking at my little boy, and there was just a part of me that was going, "What have I done? What have I done?" You've done the right thing. But there is just that moment. That's what I'm saying about that card. Yes, of course. Look, we've got another major arcana now. On his journey, on your journey, you're being asked to spend time on your own. We know that. I've just said he's on his own. You're never really on your own. No. If you know that you're surrounded by all sorts of beings, I don't want to freak you out, but just because your human senses can't pick them up doesn't mean they're not there. The fairies, remember, be away with the fairies. But anyway, this is about solitude and meditation and about following your energy. So, and he's Virgo, and so we're talking, this is up until September, so this is kind of referring to this summer, I think. I know it's May, we're doing May. But I think whatever hard work we put in this month, whatever discipline, whatever structure, these are words from Saturn into Aries, but whatever duty, whatever we put in the month of May, I think we're going to get the rewards in Virgo time, which is end of August, beginning of September. And he's following his energy. He's wise. He's established, I want to say. He's on top of the mountain. He's achieved because he's on top of the mountain. But he is about spending time on your own to really feel into what it is you want to do, how you want to express yourself, and meditation, whatever that means for you. That could be walking in nature, hugging a tree, swimming in a pool, or it could be sitting silently, breathing, focus on your breath, or it could be deep levels of meditation, or it could be related to your astral traveling here. Okay, brilliant. Love it, love it, love it. Oh, I am loving these. I'm loving these cards. The Three of Wands is a very abundant card. Threes are small creations. It comes after the Two of Wands, where he's made that moral decision. The Two of Wands is about he's got the world in his hands, remember, and he's making a moral decision. Do you want to be part of the old paradigm? Do you want to be controlled? Do you want to be doing everything that your government tells you to do? Everything you're programming, your school, society, and your parents. We're not knocking anybody, right? We're not judging. We were all, brought up, we weren't all, but, my age people were brought up in that situation. We're not judging people for not waking up, of course. But most of our programming has come from society and from our parents and from our schooling, right? So, we can think for ourselves. We can think for ourselves. And the Two of Wands is about thinking for yourself and that sense of duty, that sense of wanting to help other people, the sense of following your moral guidance. And that isn't always what's legal. Not in today's world, unfortunately. It doesn't mean that everything that's legal is wrong. You don't get me wrong here, but there are some things that aren't quite in alignment. There are some areas of the judicial system that are not quite in alignment with divine truth, shall we say. So the Three of Wands comes after that. Threes are little creations. He's actually looking out. The Two of Wands, he's looking out over the shores of heaven on earth. And in this one, I'm not sure if you can see, but his ships are coming in. This card is about your ships coming in, your bounty coming in. So this is the fruition that we talked about here, because we have this fertile full moon in May, right? So it's the products of our efforts. And we've got I'm so not surprised to see the Eight of Pentacles. I think I mentioned him earlier on, didn't I? The Eight of Pentacles, he is traditionally the work hard card. But you don't have to work hard. You have to be just tapped into your highest consciousness, following your intuition, following your heart. Because look at him, he is so happy. He's so engrossed in what he's doing. He's okay. He's not looking at the clock, going, oh, when can I clock out of here? No, he's really happy and he's busy producing, busy producing, busy producing. So this is about you sharing your classes, sharing your workshops, sharing your knowledge, sharing your products. What are you making? You're making jewelry, you're painting pictures. What are you doing? Are you writing music? Are you selling your music? Are you sharing it with other people? Are you putting it online for other people to benefit from? Are you reading tarot? Are you sharing your tarot readings? Are you writing that book, Deborah? Always for me, always for me. Perfect, perfect card. Absolutely love it. It's about Pentacles, of course, is you've got the money coming in, but more importantly than that, you have got health, happiness, love, and abundance coming in. He's away with the fairies. He's away with the fairies, and look how productive he is. This is Saturn moving into Aries in May 2025. Oh, wow. It's our opportunity to really work hard, play easy with a sense of duty. How about that? Not work hard, but play easy with a sense of duty. It's your sense of duty. It's that following your passion. Aries, all about following your passion. So yeah, Saturn moving into Aries, I think is a big one. And I think that's because it's there for 2025 to 2027. These are the two most fertile years because now we're halfway through this 10-year agenda or whatever. We're awake enough to realize we've tapped into our gifts. We're learning who we are. We're following our hearts. We're receiving the benefits of doing so. We're feeling that community, the unity in the community, whether it's online or in your local community. We're feeling that passion, that drive, that inspiration, that realization of why we're here and what we came here to do. No pressure. But can you get playing, please? Get playing with a sense of duty and share it with others. Wow. I'm just going to go and write a book. Love those cards, don't you? For the month of May. Wow, wow, wow. Absolutely love it. If you want more astrology, you've got Pam Gregory, very much one of my favorites. Also, please don't forget Amy Bird, amybirdastrology.com, Amy Bird on Facebook. Um, she also is, in my opinion, an incredible intuitive astrologer. Okay, so yeah, I'm seeing some relevance, shall we say. So yeah, beautiful. Wow, that's woken me up. I hope it has you as well. Um, Amazing cards. Thank you so much for playing easy with a sense of duty. Love you all. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Have a fantastic month of May. Bye for now.